So if you're comfortable closing your eyes, do so. And think back in your own life to when you were 13 years old. Now, for the sake of the exercise, I'd like you to pretend that regardless of your sexual orientation, you've always been attracted to people of the other sex. If you're a woman sitting in this audience, your first crush was on a boy or on a man. Likewise, if you're a man sitting in this audience, your first crush was on a woman or on a girl. But let's pretend that when you were a baby, you were adopted. You were adopted by either a gay, male, or lesbian couple. Don't try to figure it out. Just go with your feelings. Just go with your feelings. What would it feel like to be raised by either two women or two men? These people love you very much. For the sake of the fantasy, pick either two women or two men for yourself. They love you very much. They want you to be happy. But they have an idea of what's going to make you happy. Now, in this fantasy family, you have an older brother or sister who is 17 years old, perhaps, who's openly gay. You have an openly gay or lesbian brother or sister, and they bring home a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and that boyfriend or girlfriend is always welcome to the dinner table. Their photograph is taken. People wait up when they come back from dances to find out what a great time they had. And you notice that people are looking at you and sort of letting you know that they expect that of you too. That if you always want to be cherished in this family, you better bring home somebody of the same sex. That's what we want for you. That's what you need to do to make us proud. What would it feel like if every billboard you passed featured two people of the same sex? If every comic book hero was gay? What would it feel like if every station you turned on the radio or television featured gay people? Every movie you went to featured gay people? What would that feel like? What would it feel like if your homeroom teacher was gay? And the librarian, and the principal, and the guidance counselor? What would it feel like if everyone in school thought you were too? Now, not everybody in this fantasy is gay. There are people who are sexually interested in, attracted to people of the other gender. You'll learn this word later in your life. They're called heterosexuals. Most people, though, when you're younger, mean people particularly, don't call them heterosexual, they call them breeders. Make love, not breeder babies, the bumper sticker says. When a handful of breeders tried to get legislation passed so that they wouldn't lose their apartment or their job, you saw a bumper sticker that said, "Kill a breeder for Christ." These people want special rights for what they do in the bedroom the night before. Breeders. The boy thought to be a breeder is the boy hit in the head with the dodgeball in 7th grade. Your best friend whispered in your ear in 7th grade that God would vomit in the presence of a breeder. That's what you think you are. It's Tuesday night, the second week of school, the phone rings, you're at home, come to the phone and talk to somebody. If you're a man sitting in this room, talk to Bob. Bob's 16, he's on the wrestling team in student government, and Bob wants to take you to your first high school dance. Bob and his friends have seen you walking in the hall, and Bob and they think you're cute. If you're a woman sitting in this room, it's Susan. Susan sits next to you in homeroom. She's been smiling at you for a week. She wants to take you to the dance. Now, on Friday night, the gymnasium is filled with same-sex couples. Right? You're 14 years old, and by the end of the evening, you're in the arms of a person of the same sex. Slow dance after slow dance. They're nuzzling your neck. They're whispering in your ear, "Are you having fun?" How do you feel? And who do you tell how you feel? And now they take you to the door, and Bob takes you in his arms, or Susan takes you in her arms, and they pull you nervously but excitedly close to them, and they give you your first goodnight kiss. And you walk inside, and your gay family says to you, "Honey, you look so cute. Tell us all about it. Did you have fun?" Do you think there's a book on being a heterosexual in your high school library? And if there is, do you have the courage at 14 to take it off the shelf and hand it to the gay librarian? And pull the little index card out and write your name in ink on it and risk that for the next 3 or 4 years of your life, somebody walks through the halls of the school saying, "Guess who checked out the breeder book?" So you get a boyfriend if you're a boy, or a girlfriend if you're a girl, and you date them, and you go to gay movies, and you hold their hands, and you learn how to French kiss, and you bring them home to meet your family, and you say, "I love you," and you go to college hoping things will be different, but in college everyone seems to be dating somebody of the same sex, except for a local group of kids, heterosexual students, who gather in the student union periodically for meetings, but every time they put up an announcement, somebody tears it down or writes breeder across it. And so you date somebody of the same sex because all of these heterosexual students, no one wants them in their dorm room, and no one wants them in their social groups, and no one wants to sit next to them in class. As a junior, you finally have your first gay sexual experience. How do you feel about that? As a senior, you're walking down the street and you see a newsstand ahead of you. It's on the corner. It's a gay newsstand, but every newsstand is a gay newsstand. And there's a gay man standing at it, and he's pointing and laughing at something, and as you get closer, you find out what he's pointing and laughing at is a little stack of newspapers that says Heterosexual Community News. He elbows you and he says, "What do you think of that?" And when he walks away, what do? Well, you reach down, you grab that Breeder newspaper, and you stick it in between two gay magazines, and you hurry home and you lock the door to your room, and you think of a hiding place, perhaps under your mattress where you could tuck it, because if your gay roommate finds it, you're out in your ear. Everyone's going to know about you. And you find on page 6 an advertisement for a bar where people just like you gather every night. Men who are attracted to women and women who are attracted to men gather in this bar, and you want to go. You want to take that bus across town in a section of town you might not otherwise go, but you got to go meet these people because you may make a new friend. You may finally be able to tell somebody who you are. Finally, you get up the nerve to go to the bar. You walk and you order a drink, and then a second, and then a third, and you notice that there are men and women laughing and talking and dancing together. And an attractive person of the other sex smiles at you and walks over and introduces themselves to you. And they ask you to dance. How do you feel about that? And the next day when your gay friends say to you, "Boy, are you in a good mood? Where were you last night?" What do you tell them? After dating this person for a long period of time, they say, "Let's live together." Well, how are you going to do that? How are you going to live with this person and never have your family over? Your gay friends and your gay family? Well, you get a 2-bedroom apartment. You put your possessions in one bedroom and they put their possessions in the other bedroom. And always pull the shades at night. And if you're real nervous, get 2 telephones. And don't let anybody at work call you on the wrong line. And never pick up their telephone. And don't put their picture on your desk at work. And don't call them from the office because somebody might overhear you. And always bring a gay date to office functions. And introduce them as your friend. And maybe you'll double date just to make sure no one knows. Now, how do you feel about that? And you walk home one day on your way to your apartment from work, and somebody you barely know comes up and says to you, "Hey, did they make it? How are they?" And you find the most important person in your life was taken to the hospital 8 hours earlier, and no one called you because no one knew. Because there was no ID on their person that said, in case of an emergency, call you, because you were afraid that if the wallet or purse was stolen, you would be found out. And there they are on the other side of the plate glass window in the intensive care unit fighting for their life all by themselves. And you've got to decide, do you go in and let the gay doctors and gay nurses know that this person laying there is your most significant other, the person you love most in the whole world, this person of the other sex? Or do you worry about the reaction and you just sit outside and wait? And if you sit outside that room and wait, can you call your gay office mate? Or can you call your gay office manager and tell them who you are and why you won't be into work for the rest of the week? When you feel comfortable doing so, could you open your eyes? And if you can think of a word or two to describe what feelings that came up for you, could you share a word or two? What did you feel?
Cringing.
You felt cringing. What did that feel like?
All the time it hurt.
All the time it hurt.
Cringing.
Who else? Yes.
Nervous.
You felt nervous? Tell me about that.
I just had this sense of someone or something was going to get me all the time.
Was going to get you all the time. Watch over your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Watch what you say. Be careful about not betraying your truth. Mm-hmm. Right? Thank you. Who else? Yes.
Fear.
You felt fear. What did that feel like?
I couldn't move, or I couldn't do certain things that I wanted to do because I would be found out.
Because you would be found. And then what would happen to you if you were found out?
Well, I might lose friends.
You might lose friends.
And my family.
You might lose your family.
My job, or
and your job.
all of that.
All because of what?
All because I was relating to somebody of the opposite sex.
And why were you relating to them?
Because I loved them.
Because you loved them. And why did you love them?
Well, I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just did.
That's right.
I just did.
That's right. You don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know why. Why am I different? Why can't I create feelings for these people of the other sex? It would have been so easy for me. If I could have created erotic feelings for women, I wouldn't be gay, would I?